Good afternoon, everyone. This is the recap show, the Dojo Live recap show. It is Monday, February 8th, 2021. I'm Tulio Sergusa, broadcasting from Southern California. I'm joined today by Carlos Ponce in Cuernavaca, Mexico, who makes the magic happen.
Today,
And
only today.
only today. And
Only
Kim Lantis, who makes the magic happen every day in Hermosillo, Mexico. All right, so we are recapping last week's shows. We had two shows. Let's see, two shows last week. The first show we had was Overcoming the Challenges of Connecting in This Remote World. That was with RJ Stevens, who's the Chief Revenue Officer at AirDeck. And the second show on Wednesday or Thursday, one of those 2 days, was with Tatiana Mahmoud, and the topic was how customer-centric culture creates great digital experiences. Interesting conversation. Tatiana is an anthropologist, a very enlightening conversation for sure. So what stood out for you guys? Let's go right into it. We got 10 minutes to make this happen.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I was talking to Carlos before the show, and here I have my visitor. I forgot to lock the door. Is that it wasn't necessary?
Well, we're always asking.
Let's put it right there in the middle, right there. Make it big.
We're always asking for guests to join us for the recap show. So
and there she is.
She's obliging.
Yes.
There you are on the mainframe. Kim,
So
you're on the spotlight.
I see. Hello all. So it wasn't quantity so much as it was quality. I think they were really great shows. And I think both of them were really interesting and had this nice overlap. RJ introduced their product, which is AirDeck, which here we have Harry Potter. I'm sorry, you guys. Which was great because you got to add voice with their tool voice to your presentations. And I think that's a really great way to talk about connectedness. And I thought what was really interesting about that show is how he tapped into the use cases that they've come up with a product, but also how they allow for their clients and they utilize the creative ways in which their customers are using their product, ways in which they may have never even envisioned it to be meant for. And I think that's really great. And it goes in line with the second talk, which is the customer-centric culture, and how it's just really important to always keep the usability, your customers in mind, and how you can kind of riff off of that, going off of a talk we had the week prior, right, of how to always use that customer experience and what they're doing to continuously improve your product, and how not just the bottom line, it should never be the purpose of what you're doing, but how we can genuinely help people.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting, the conversation with AirDeck. I mean, all I kept thinking about, this is perfect for like Carlos and Kim, because Carlos is an illustrator and has been storytelling his entire life, and you're a communicator. So this is really marrying these two platforms, the need to tell a story using illustrations, right? So now you can use a PowerPoint deck, if you will, with pictures or what have you, and talk over it. And instead of it being a big 100 megabyte file, it's all on the cloud, so you're able to share it and collaborate with other people. Really love the use of that for training, for onboarding, for customer success. I see a lot of potential for customer success, specifically for those self-service level 1 calls that often enough is just the customer wants instructions on how to do something. And it's an alternative to producing a video, right? You can easily create these FAQs with these kinds of AirDeck, platforms from these guys at AirDeck.
Yeah, and easily editable. That's a hard word to say.
Absolutely.
Right?
And then the
jump right in where you need to jump in.
Yeah, the conversation with Tatiana was very enlightening too, because a lot of companies talk about putting the customer first, but they don't really reflect it in their action, right? So, it's literally a mission for organizations that are very customer centric, who the entire focus is around serving the customer, and revenue and growth is a byproduct of being customer obsessed, not the other way around. A lot of companies will do a customer obsessed approach to market as a strategy to achieve revenue growth, right? And her mindset was more like, no, it's about being customer obsessed. That's the strategy. That's the goal. The byproduct is that you get to grow your business and make more money. And really appreciated the conversation there. Carlos, what came up for you from these two shows? You're on mute.
It had been a while ever since I was on mute. I just remember that. I used to be the mute guy. Now I'm not.
Yeah, you're
Just got
doing
lost
good.
there. Yeah. I almost had it. I almost had it, but I had to fail at some point.
It's all right.
That would be me. Definitely the conversation with Tatiana, how she and when the conversation took an interesting spin, especially during the forced digital transformation part that we sometimes touch on, and during the DojoLIVE, and one of the things that I could sense about what Tatiana is proposed that way is this shift from, as you were saying, from just the operational part, focus on revenue and all that, and that it's usually, especially these days, this is the wrong approach, because it's about the customer. It's about the people who's actually online conducting maybe a buying experience or whatever, and I think it's all about that part of the equation. And I think the way that Tatiana handles it and works with her clients is just awesome. I think she's we're going to be seeing a lot of this particular approach. I think I was going to say for the remainder of the year, but I think I would probably fall short, because I think this is here to stay. Becoming customer obsessed, customer centric is going to be a must rather than a nice to have for companies, that either software companies or companies that are going digital, or that are brick and mortar but are going also digital. It's all about the customer at the end of the day, and being focused on that, obsessed on that. I think that's going to be the key element. That's what I really liked about what Tatiana had to say.
Yeah, I also like how some of these tools address this ongoing trend that we're seeing, right? We're living more online and spending a great deal of time on these things, right? And that unfortunately doesn't necessarily create connection with people. I mean, we're connected, but it's not necessarily creating relationships and building intimacy. So we're more and more disconnected, even though we're more connected, right?
And that's not, the need for connection isn't going anywhere. Like, even if we're digital, we're human, and that's not changing. And I think just this drive of the way we're being forced to connect needs to become human-centric. It needs to continue to be customer-centric, because if it's not, the customers are going to go, I think, naturally where it is.
Exactly. So check out those shows if you didn't see them. Very encouraged about what some of these companies are doing to enhance how we talk with each other and communicate with each other and connect as human beings. So we're up on time. Carlos, what do we got coming up this week before we wrap up the 10-minute mark?
Tomorrow, we are going to be speaking about AI and machine learning and how they revolutionize customer packaged goods, or CPG as it's known in the space. And that is with Yaniv Sadik, co-founder and CEO of the Mohawk Group. And then on Thursday, we're going to be speaking with Hugo Baun Anderson and Matthew Rockland, the head of data science and CEO, respectively, of Coiled. The topic is scalable AI for everyone. So this is an AI-filled week. So let's call it that way. And they're all here on DojoLIVE at noon. And that's what we have for this week. And in case you're wondering, these are my wife's reading glasses.
I was going to say, I love those glasses. We have to talk about those when we go off the air.
The glasses are on the roll, folks.
They're super cool.
It's not that I just watched Rocket Man. No. It's about this. I'm just borrowed my wife.
He was like reading my mind.
Yeah, it was like, no, these are my wife's.
We'll see you back tomorrow at noon. Thanks for joining us. Stay safe.
Stay safe.